This technique video is going to be on defensive wrestling from our feet. I think the one thing I've learned over a lot of years in coaching is those athletes that have the ability to defend their legs also are some of my best athletes on the offense. So I think that combination of having good, solid defense gives you the confidence to be a much more offensive wrestler, going in and attacking, not worried about your opponent shooting to your legs, but you have the skills to defend. So this technique, we're going to cover a lot of sprawls. We're going to cover some different techniques and how you defend certain things when they get to your legs. But mostly this is video that's going to be after the guy gets to my legs, and what do we do, how do we defend, and also how do we score from those positions. What we're going to start with on this video is we're going to put people in our legs. So we're going to start from a guy in on my legs, and then we'll work backwards to our feet, guys taking shots and defending our opponent from even trying to get to our legs. But I want to put them on our legs because that's where we tend to see the struggles of guys defending, learning how to use their hips, learning how to move their feet, as well as somebody sucking in a leg, the things that we do when the legs get pulled in. So we're going to put our opponent in on our legs, and we're going to start with the simple butt drag. Now, we think of a butt drag, and those of you that have been in coaching for a long time, and those of you that are wrestlers, you probably have practiced this. Well, this is probably the most important skill there is in defending your legs. And there's technique with it. It's real important that we recognize that we're using our hips, and we're using the weight of our hips, and we're adding weight to our opponent as they're trying to pull our legs in. So I'm going to put a guy in on my leg and follow me as we work our defense. Okay, I'm going to put on opponent. Opponent's shot in the leg, okay, and he's in a position to maybe suck the leg in, okay. We're always covering the head, okay. Wherever this head is going to dictate how much power he has, okay. And if I can get that head down, I'm always going to push the head down. So if our opponent takes a shot, whether it's a swing single, okay, back up, or just a straight in single, okay, I sprawl and I stuff. And as I stuff, the key here is this. Is notice that a lot of times they're going to be locked around a knee, okay, or they're going to be locked up here higher on the hamstring, okay. Either position, we're focused on stuffing the head here. And as we stuff the head here, we plant our feet, okay. A lot of people will sit on their shoelaces when you actually want to plant your feet, okay? Because as you plant your feet here, okay, we're wanting to extend our head and chest up and lay the hips into our opponent, okay? And ideally, I want to be right here on his head and on his shoulder. If he is shot to my right leg here, I'm going to be covering right here, okay? And as I'm doing it, my head and chest is coming up, my hips are coming in. Okay, notice a couple things here. When you're coaching on your butt drag, you want to really focus on where your athlete's feet are. Okay, it's real important that we don't get real wide with our feet. A lot of times guys will take this shot and our feet will be wide. Right here we start to lose power. Okay, as we bring our feet in, now we got more power. Okay, so don't get your feet too wide because two things happen. One, you lose power, and two, you can't move. Okay, I cannot move with my feet. And you'd be surprised how many people V their feet. And you see it a lot of times when they do V it, the guy works right back up into us. Go ahead and drive into me, okay? And we find ourselves in position that we don't want to be in. I want to keep this guy down. If I get the head stuffed, I don't want him to be able to build back up to his knees. I don't want him to be able to build back up to his feet. I want to try to keep him down in that position. And by doing that, I'm going to do two things. One, okay, as I make the sprawl, my hips are going in and I'm sliding my hips down. Okay? Now, notice that my feet are close together here, no wider than shoulder width apart. I might have a bent knee, and the only reason I'll have a bent knee is because that's likely the side I'm going to attack to. But the power of your hips come from the weight, okay? So as I elevate my head and chest up and I stuff this head, okay, now I'm sliding down off of him. I'm letting my hips just slide. I'm letting my feet just slide back. and I'm just adding weight to this lock. Okay, so he's locked here, hips go in, and now I'm sliding back. Okay, now I can do that a couple different ways. I can do it with butt drag, reaching to the back side here. Okay, back of the hamstring, the butt, ankle. Okay, anything that we can anchor onto is going to allow us to move our hips down and away right here. Okay, I can do it to either side. So just depending on the angle that he has, if he gets a big angle here, I may have to grab this side and sag. Okay, in this position. So notice that my knees, when I'm sprawled, my knees, sometimes I'll do a bent knee here on the opposite side of the leg he's attacking, but my feet are still close together here. Okay, I'm not here with my feet wide. Okay, and the reason I want that bent knee sometimes is it allows me to add more pressure to the head as he's trying to suck the leg in, okay? I'm dropping back. Now, notice this. When a man's locked around the leg, okay, and I sprawl, I want to plant that toe. And as I plant that toe, I extend that knee or that leg, okay? Notice that my knee comes up off the mat. A lot of us have been taught to keep our shoelaces to the mat. But when you have a man that locks the leg and he's got the ability and the power and the position to be able to suck that leg in, even though he's in poor position, some guys have the power to pull that leg in. I shouldn't say power, I should say technique, because it is technique. Okay, the eye to the bicep, sucking that leg in. And you'll be surprised at how many guys that can take just a wild shot, get their hands locked. I've seen some of the best wrestlers in the world with no setups, just dive in, get a lock on the leg, and they can suck it in from anywhere. Completely extended here in this position because they have the flexibility and definitely the position and definitely the skill. Make a half turn. So again, the way I'm going to break that is to plant that toe and extend. If I haven't broke it yet, it's when I'm sliding back. Okay? That's the problem that we have a lot of guys, a lot of athletes. The problem a lot of times with their defense is they don't recognize that their opponent's in a position to suck that leg in, and they need to get off that head. Okay? Again, he's here. I feel him locked. Now I can post the thighs to help me push back, or I can grab either one. Okay? And if I'm posting the thighs, I'm pushing back, until I feel that lock break. Okay? Now I want to break that lock. Sometimes you don't break it. And I'll show you what we need to do if we don't break it. Some of those guys are going to be strong enough to hold on to the lock, even when that lock gets above their head. So that's what I'm actually doing when I plant that toe, and I extend my leg, I'm raising that lock up above his head. And that's how I get the hands broke. Okay? And if I don't break them, hold on. If I don't break them, I'm sliding back. And I'm still planting that toe, extending that hamstring up. Okay? But I'm the key to heavy defense, and this is really the term you should use when you're teaching. We need heavy defense, heavy hips, okay? And that's what I'm doing right here, okay? Is I'm applying heavy hips. I'm doubling my weight, okay? By pushing, pressing, okay, and extending. I'm getting him extended out. I'm stretching him out. I'm stretching his arms out. I don't want him in here with bent elbows. Bent elbows means he can suck the leg in. Extended arms with the head down puts me in a lot better position to be able to not just defend the shot, okay, but also to be able to score, okay? So, he's in on the leg. He's sucking it back. I'm pushing. If I haven't broke it, keep the lock. If I haven't broke it, that's when I start to rotate, okay? Now, here's a real important way of moving our feet in a circle. I'm using my toes right here. Insides of my toes right here, I'm using I'm crawling along the mat with him. Okay? I'm not shoelacing it. I may go here for just a second, but then I'm going to my toes immediately. He's extended, and now I'm using my toes. And as I go in that half circle with this butt drag, there's so many things that tied into a butt drag, technically, that you have to follow. Okay? To me, this is some of the harder technique for kids to learn, for anyone to learn. That fact is just to feel that pressure, applying that pressure to your opponent when they're trying to suck a leg in. And that's why we're starting with the leg. Okay? If we can learn this, okay, and you can learn how to rotate around the guy, how to break the lock, you're going to find out that the sprawl can be secondary. It can come later that you sprawl better. Okay? But it doesn't do us any good if we can sprawl and we can't keep our opponent from sucking a leg in, which I've had that athlete. Good sprawls, but can't, once the guy gets to his leg, they suck it in. Okay? I would rather have a guy get into my legs, but yet I can sprawl and I can break his lock every time because of my skills. So, again, we're starting with the guy in on our leg, and we got to beat him here. Okay? Press, I'm sliding, I'm using my toes. I'm digging my toes in and I'm sliding back. I can go as far as I want, just overemphasizing it of what we're doing. If the lock is tight, I can't break it, I start rotating. I always control the hamstring, the butt, the ankle. As I'm anchoring on back here. Keep your lock. Okay? And as I'm crossing over his head, okay, notice my head and chest up. When I drop my head and chest here, my hips come off of it. That pressure comes off of him. I want to keep that pressure on him by rotating my head up, hips in. And as I'm walking, I'm still dropping back until I can come back inside with his hand to score my points. Okay? So, doesn't mean that he's not going to spin with us. Okay? So as I'm doing this butt drag, grab a hold. As I'm doing this butt drag, grab it. Post, back, right here. Now, the action's going to really start. If I break his lock right here and I've got a little bit of an angle, he's going to start to spin, okay? Now, what I want to do here is I want to keep control of that anchor that I have in back, okay? Don't start wrapping our hand around the waistline, okay? Make sure we control that back by keeping pressure forward, okay? And I'm going to control that head. The only way he can really defend here is if he gets his head up, okay? So as I'm in here, and as I'm moving around here, as I break the lock, I'm going to drop right here to that armpit. Keep this body down. As he tries to bring his head up to defend, I'm going to keep walking until I get underneath. Taking this arm, make a half turn. Taking this arm and getting underneath. Okay? And from here, I'm going to grab an ankle or something. I'm going to bump to attack him. Okay? Half turn again right here. Show it from this angle here. Now, what I want you to understand is that the value of the butt drag is when we're wrestling competitive guys that we can't break their hands. Good, strong wrestlers that can keep that lock. And I've got to learn to be able to move my feet, apply pressure, slide down and away to break that lock. Because if I don't break the lock, it's going to be tough for me to get the corner and score points. Okay? But that technique of sagging, rotating, okay, and keeping pressure on the head, that skill should break the lock 90% of the time. We're going to have occasionally one of those guys that we just have a hard time breaking their lock. And there's something to do to them, okay? So again, locked on the leg, I'm posting to drop back. I'm gripping in the back, anchoring on right here. He still has the lock. Now I start to use my toes. Keep the lock as long as you can, okay? As I start to use my toes, here's the key. I'm not rotating and staying on his head. As I rotate, I'm sliding off his shoulder. I'm sliding down. I'm making it heavy, okay? I come back here. If I feel like I have to control the head here, to keep it down, and then coming back under and always trying to bump them off. I always like to go to the ankle and just bump them to the mat before I start to recover and attack my top position. So, lock to the butt drag. Simple move, but yet highly skillful move of being able to learn how to use your hips. The earlier you learn how to use them, you're going to find that you have a lot of success defensively. Okay? Now get back in. If the guy's sucking my leg in, he's sucking it in. Sucking in. You start to pull it in. I feel myself getting elevated here. We always go back to the head first. Okay? Remember, if I'm in a wrestling match, a guy shoots a single leg, boom, he gets his hands locked, okay? Whether he's going to create an angle and try to attack the corner, or whether he's going to build up into me, either way, he's got to get his head up. If he's going to try to build the corner, you're going to attack the corner, get your head up. He's got to get his head up. Make a half turn. He's got to get his head up. He can't do it with his head down, or I'm going to square up. Okay, if he beats me here and he gets his head up, get your head up. And he creates the corner, okay? He's there. If he's going to build up into me, he's got to get his head up. Okay? So, two things on a butt drag, okay, that we got to be aware of. One, yeah, we want heavy hips, but we have to control that head. And there's too many guys that just let the head pop out and not always stuffing it. I don't know why. I learned good defense in about the 3rd and 4th grade, and somebody taught me properly good defense, and it carried all the way through my career. You know, not that I didn't work on it, I worked on it all the time, but learning those proper skills of the head position, always making sure that the head's stuffed no matter where you're at. And what you need to remember is this. If you're wrestling me, and I shoot a low single leg, and I miss it, and I end up getting locked around your knee, I'm going to suck it up. Okay? I may not score. If I do score, it's because I got my head up. Okay? I'm not going to score if I don't get my head up. I tell you right now, it's not going to happen. Okay? In a lot of cases, you know, my opponent might have to stalemate. Well, that's a win for him. Okay? He stopped the scoring position when I got to his leg, or when you get to his leg. Okay? So keep in mind that anytime we feel the head being sucked up, we go back to stuffing the head first. Don't try to sprawl. Our reaction a lot of times is we're trying to get our hips back. He's sucking it in, okay, and we're trying to post, okay, when we need to be attacking the head, okay? We're still trying to sprawl when the sprawl's gone. He's already elevated up. I got to get the head back down and readjust myself. He takes the shot. Let's show him a little bit of kind of a live action where he takes the shot and I sprawl. He hits the mat and he builds up quickly. That's kind of how it happens. Guys take that shot. They may hit their knees and then they're building up immediately. Okay? I'm still trying to sprawl. I'm still trying to get him a hip. Okay? So, when I feel that, once I sprawl, and I feel that knee getting sucked in, I'm going to the head. I get the head in the middle, now I can sprawl. Now it's going to be effective. Okay? Now, ideally, here's what I want. He takes the shot, and I've already got him down. Okay? He hit his knees, I've never let him come up. Well, that's not the case all the time. Okay? So, he's going to suck it up. He sucks it, boom. I'm stuffing, circling. Feet, sag. Notice I'm always sagging back, overemphasizing it. Okay? So again, he takes the shot, I sprawl, he starts to suck up, I go back to the head. Stuff, push it right in between your legs. Okay? Now, once we get here, we go back to the skills of being heavy. Okay? I want to get heavy now. This guy, if he's a competitor, what's he going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, he's going to try to suck the leg back up. He isn't stopping. If he does stopping, then he's not too hard to beat. Okay? He's going to keep trying to suck the leg up, keep trying to get to the corner, or trying to build me up. Okay? So I got to keep stuffing. I go back to my technique. I'm posting, okay, sliding, toe in the mat, and letting my foot slide, okay? Our foot can slide with the toe in the mat, okay? Again, lock, right here. And why do I have a bent knee? I have a bent knee for a couple of reasons. Big half turn. I have a bent knee, and now I want to work on this finish here. We're going to go back over and building up on a couple of things, but I want to focus on this finish of how we're actually, some of the things that we're doing. I have a bent knee, but here's what we don't want to do, is as I break that lock, I don't want to end up on two knees here, okay? The reason I have a bent knee here, okay, grab it, is I feel like I got more pressure with my hip. Now as I break it, I'm here. I straighten him out and put pressure into him, okay? Too many people will stay on their knees right there, and right at the tail end they'll miss it. The guy will scramble out because of why? What happens when we're on our knees? The pressure goes off our opponent. Okay, I can't have pressure. I can't have pressure on two knees. Okay, half turn. So again, I'm here. Control, inside, outside, butt, hamstring. Okay, I break the lock. As I break it here, more pressure, controlling the armpit to keep him down. Okay, some people like to come back in and control the head and the chin. Good stuff, nothing wrong with that. It seems easier for me to just grab the armpit and pull down right here. I don't pull down, keep him down as I'm circling. Some guys want to do this. Grab it, come back to the chin and take their forearm back over the head. Seems easier for me to do this. Just pull as I'm circling. Extend those legs to finish your butt drag. Keep the pressure. I'm wrestling a great athlete. These guys scramble. They can drop their head under. They can try to roll. Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, right after I beat you right here. Okay, you turn your head in. They'll try to roll right here. We keep that down. Okay, and the way I kept him from not rolling and trying to funk me a little bit, heavy. We're not giving him that chance. We're not taking that pressure off so we can take that roll. I'm going to bury him in the mat. Keep that weight down. You know, the one thing about watching technique videos is this, that over the years when people are teaching you, if you watch videos, which you should, over the years, so many of the clinicians miss little things that they need to tell you. They just do it. Okay, so I'm sure I'm doing some things that I'm not talking about. You need to identify with that. Sometimes I forget every single little detail to what skill I'm doing, but you need to see that on film because you can break it down. You can watch my feet. You can rewind it. You can do a lot of things. Okay, so I'm going to tell you everything that I'm thinking of right now, but every clinician is going to skip some things every now and then, and it may be important things. Hopefully I'm not doing that, but I want you to recognize that there's so much to just keeping that weight on your opponent. There's so much. The advantage here, in my opinion, put a guy underneath. He's got a leg. The advantage here is this guy. Okay? Really is. If he's good down here, he's got skills and ability. The disadvantage is me trying to defend this. Okay? But the one thing that always beats this guy is superb technique. Okay? Understanding pressure with your hips. Understanding stuffing with the head. Understanding where that head has got to be at all times, no matter what he's doing, I've got to get the head down. Okay? A double leg, which we may cover a little bit here in this video. If you're going to keep a guy from hitting you in a double leg after he gets to it, there's only one thing to do. That head doesn't go down, he's going to double leg it. Okay? We're putting the guy on his knees, okay? And he's sucking it up to build his head up, okay? that's a little bit easier for me to keep that head down. But a guy in on a deep double leg, I either got to use my body to get his head down or I got to use my hand, but I'm going to have to get his head down. So just kind of remember the key things as we're working through this is heavy hips, always stuff in the head. Last thing right here. As I'm extending here, okay, and I'm going around here, okay, remember, notice this, okay, maybe I have a bent knee, and the reason I have the bent knee is because it feels easier for me to put pressure on his head and my hip to slide off, okay, grab, okay, it's easy for me to slide, but notice how my legs immediately, okay, knees came off the mat, keeping that weight on me, okay, as I come back under to score my points. So we covered that butt drag pretty much in detail. Just kind of keep in mind that you can't watch something for one time and then, you need to spend some time watching the video, trying to step through it. A good idea of learning, which I did, Coach Bobby Douglas, he always had video TVs in his wrestling room, and it always made sense to me that showing technique in the room to people that you're trying to develop is a good idea, that you're watching it, you're working it, you're watching it, you're working it. That's a good way of learning, is just taking the patience, not an intense situation where we're trying to be intense, but we're trying to learn. And when you're trying to learn, you got to think. You got to stop, you got to think, you got to readjust yourself. It's not something you're going to get a workout. Okay, I'm trying to develop techniques, so I need to step through things to develop it. You're not going to do it in a live drill. Okay, you're going to do it by putting him on your leg. Okay, and you're going to do sprawl, circle drills. Sprawl, circle. Sprawl, circle. Sprawl, circle. Extend, stuff the head. Okay, now just a couple things that I'm going to show you to get a little bit diversified with defense is just some skills that some of you guys that have a little longer arms, some of you guys that feel like you can always trap that far elbow. It was a skill that a lot of people used. You don't see it as much anymore, but it's still there. Okay, guy sucks the leg in. Okay, a lot of times when he sucks the leg in and you get him extended. Okay, this is a technique I'll use with that athlete that I told you that I just can't break his lock. Okay, he's strong, he's got great flexibility in his shoulders. You'd think he just popped his shoulders out, but he's got so much flexibility that he can extend his arms up above his head. And we just cannot break that lock. What did I say? The lock has eventually got to break for us to score a lot of times. Okay, I've seen guys get to the angle, they slip over the head, pop their head out, they slipped over the head, and the guy tried to step around the leg, to score the point. And he's still holding on. You'll see this occasionally, okay? Not very often, but occasionally, okay? What I want to do with that guy that I'm having a tough time breaking the lock, okay, is doing what? Okay? I'm committed to he's not scoring. Okay? So first, when I get a guy that, hey, I'm having a tough time breaking his lock, I got to focus on, listen, I got to be willing to go stalemate in this position and go back to my feet, because that's a win for me. Okay? But I also need to recognize that there is some techniques that we can score on here. And one is just controlling the elbows. So as I extend him, okay, make a half turn this way. As I extend him, and I'm not getting that leg that broke, okay, that means I can't rotate across. All I'm going to do with my free hand is I'm going to control the back of his hand, tricep right here, and I'm going to push it across. Keep the lock. I'm going to push it across, and I'm going to reach, and then I'm going to control that bicep. So lift up, lift up. Here's what I'm doing. Right here. Not the elbow. Okay? Up around, and your fingers are going to end up wrapping around that bicep. So remember this. I take a guy, he shoots. When I extend him, and I got good pressure on him, I'm bringing those elbows together. Okay? And that's what it's allowing me to be able to reach and control the far elbow, or the far bicep, tricep. Okay? I can't get it from here. If he's got that in, I still have to I still have to fight my defense. I still have to get him extended out. You don't want to get in a hurry with this if he's building up a little bit, okay? He's building up, he's got his head up, okay? I got to be careful about trying to reach here. I got to go back to my baseline defense, shove the head back, extend him out, extend. I don't break the lock, I reach. Sometimes I don't even need to post this. I'll reach and I'll grab that arm. Now as I grab that bicep tricep right here, okay? Here's what it looks like. Right here, okay? Hips back. Keep a hold of the lock, okay? Now I start to rotate into him, okay? Now, he's gonna tuck his head and start to scramble here, okay? So once I hit here, I can do one or two things. I can reroute the other side, okay? Which sometimes is the best thing, okay? The one thing that I do have here is I have leverage. And with that leverage, it's not too hard for me to put him to his hip, okay? All I got to do is a little bit of rotating. So we remember, some of you that wrestle freestyle, okay? We remember wrapping around the waist, blocking off here, popping the guy over for a 2-point exposure in freestyle. It's real similar to this, okay? Except we're not wrapping around the waist, we're controlling the elbows. So I'm here, I'm extended back, keep the lock. I catch the elbow, the tricep, say elbows. I call it elbow trap because it's easy, but it's actually bicep trap, okay? Either one you can use. Once I get right here and I'm controlling the far tricep, I'm going to start to rotate my hips and pop him down, okay? From here, I'm going to reroute. He's going to recover. He's going to recover. I reroute to the butt, not to the waist, to the butt. Okay, hamstring, ankle. Okay, and score my points. This is good. When we use this when we feel the power of this guy in his lock. Okay, but we got to get those arms extended. Okay, again, I can come here, block, 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 reach. I can pop over. Pop him over. Now from here, I can bring my knee back. And I need to block that face off. Separate it. Okay? This is a little bit a higher risk position, but we can take this guy from a defense, us trying to defend the leg right to his back. As I block it, I step, okay? And I get wide. Okay? As he bridges, okay, I slide the legs in. I can release the lock and try to trap here, okay? But if you've got a little experience with the legs in, okay, this is a good technique to be able to take our opponent from a shot to his back. Okay, back in again. So I'm here, reach, grab, pop, okay? Control the head here. I don't want to step here. If I step here, I end up too high and he rolls out. I need to shear the face with my knee. Now I step, okay? I don't want that momentum to carry me over in a circle. If I'm not shearing that face, that's what's going to happen. That momentum's going to carry over and we'll roll through. Roll through on me, okay? Here, I block and I start stepping, okay? I need to control it right there. So as I bump him to his hip, I settle back. No, fight to your base. Fight to your base. Okay? He's going to be fighting knee right in his face. Post the head. Post the head. Arms wide. And when I step, I get wide. I get wide. Okay? Because this is not a position, a lot of times we're holding the guy on his back. We don't know this position that well. So a lot of times I'm wanting to get a count here. Okay? Rather than the pin. And if I get a chance to put legs in, if he bridges, I get a chance to put legs in, I'm putting them in and readjusting. Under, over, locking here. A lot of times we can't get here with the half Nelson. We'll have to go over. Okay? Or you can hold the position. If you're not comfortable in it, hold the position. So just a little technique of when a guy gets to our leg, we're having a hard time breaking that lock, how we can continue to score. And in this position, we're not only getting 2 takedowns, but we're also looking for exposure.